River Tales is sponsored by Southeast Health. As an anthropology student, Jennifer Rickard is the 21st century explorer, soaring the skies for the ultimate photo opportunity and exploring the depths for sunken ships.
My name is Jennifer Rickard. I am an anthropology major with a mass communication minor, and I am a sophomore. A friend of mine back when I was bartending asked me what my interests were when I discussed with him about going back to school, and I had said travel and language and people, and he said that I should probably check out the cultural anthropology classes that they offer at SEMO, and I came in with that and realized that that's exactly what I wanted to do. This summer I went to an underwater archaeological field school in Menorca, Spain with the Echo Museum, and a friend of mine that I had become PADI certified with. Basically, it's an underwater archaeological excavation that students are allowed to pay tuition to and attend over a 2-week time period, and they get to obtain the tools as far as reconnaissance and survey mapping and basic underwater techniques for underwater archaeology, and be able to use that later on for any particular grad school applications that they would like to go on to. Going there, we had entered into the small city of Cittadella, and everything was so close together with the Spanish tiled roofs and lots of people everywhere, and it was pretty exciting initially. My favorite part about it, other than just the indigenous people there, we had gone cave diving, and Menorca, the island, actually has a lot of different caves, over like 180 of them. And one of the scuba instructors took us on a little excursion, and we went into one of their massive caves that they have that's underwater and completely submerged. And once you go into the cave, you get to rise up into a specific area where it opens up, and you can take your snorkel out, and you can take your regulator out of your mouth and kind of check out the entire cave, and then continue on going through. We kind of had an idea that there was an area that we were going to do a linear survey with, and we had suspected that there would be a ship submerged in there. So about 8 minutes into the linear survey, after we dove in, we discovered an entire area of dead seaweed. We decided that we would stop and survey the area, and once we had dug in, it was about 2 feet in, and there was sediment flying everywhere. We had hit something hard, and the more we dug through, the clearer that the water got. After the sediment had settled, it was seen that there was this ship there, and one of the indicators that it was a ship was there was a nail sticking out of the side, and from that nail we were able to determine that it was probably a 16th to 18th century shipwreck, and that had most likely been burnt as its demise in the first place because of all the charring on the side. Once the shipwreck is found, then more and more teams will continue to uncover it, and that will actually determine whether or not we were correct in our first assumption, but also as it's more and more uncovered, there might be other parts that are also linked to it. So it should take a few more sessions, and once the sessions end in November, they'll have to restart again the next following season, which at that point in time might have been covered up again from like the swells and covering it over with more sediment. It would not be put into a museum, most likely, because that once you take an artifact from the seabed and bring it into surface, it goes under oxidation, and that is where it will start to deteriorate once it hits oxygen, because it has been submerged in an unoxygenated area. I had originally gone to our terrestrial archaeology excavation field school in 2010, where we visited the Cahokia Mounds, and there was a conference that was going on during this time, and there was a specific lecturer that had spoken about some Mississippian archaeology and had some photographs, aerial footages of a specific site. And after he was done lecturing, I went up to him and I approached him to ask how he obtained these pictures. And he went through the whole process of explaining to me he had to find a pilot, a photographer, to be able to get the image of the area that he exactly wanted. And so at that point, I had thought to myself, if you learn to fly yourself, well, then it would just be that much easier. So my father, who had been a pilot for a number of years, also had got his fixed wing as well as rotorcraft certifications, and he had access to a couple helicopters. As soon as I came back, I had asked him, you know, if I could find an instructor, would he allow me to use them in order to train for a pilot's license? And so that's how I originally became interested in it. I am afraid of flying, and yeah, I am afraid of diving, and when I first go in there, all the water kind of gets around you and you get this sense of claustrophobia, or whenever you're 2,000 feet up in the air and you realize how small you really are and compared to everything else on Earth, and how far of a fall it would be if anything were to go wrong. Yes, it's very terrifying, but at the same time it also has this sense of exhilaration that you get off of it as well, and you start to develop a healthy sense of safety for yourself. 2 weeks. The ultimate goal is to eventually do my own research, and within that it would be very handy to be able to just hop in my helicopter and go to some secluded spot that needed to be surveyed or do some reconnaissance work.
I am a sister. Actually, I'm the oldest of 5. And my house is where everyone gathers. Taking care of things, well, that's just what I do. I'm a sister, and cancer doesn't change that.
At the Southeast Cancer Center, we know that your life doesn't stop because of cancer. You are a person who touches other lives every day. Ask your doctor about the difference at the Southeast Cancer Center.